Welcome to Google Vehicle Ads with Traffic. I will be your host today, along with Claris Kovac, Senior Director of Product Marketing at AutoSync. As you can see from the title, we'll talk about that. And we're here as well with Amar Soni, Director of National Sales at T-Advantage. Welcome,
Hello.
guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hello, everybody. Nice to be here.
So we're here to talk about Google Vehicle Ads. Big buzz, big talk about Google Vehicle Ads with Traffic, and we will get into that. But first, Claris, big news.
Ta-da!
Big news.
Yeah, we have to take a couple of minutes, everyone who's joined us today, because actually this morning we have officially launched AutoSync. You may or may not have heard of us. So AutoSync basically is a suite of 5 class-leading connected automotive software solution. Hence the reason Ivan from Traffic, Amar from T-Advantage is here, and if you watched our conversations in the past, we would have had vAuto and the ActiveX team also on the call as well. Really, we wanted to bring these solutions together and offer our clients individual module solutions, if that's what you're looking for, or end-to-end solutions. And the goal and our mission is going to be is to bring you effectiveness and efficiency in all your sales efforts and ultimately profitability. So just take a couple of minutes here to explain like how this whole thing comes together. So first piece of the puzzle, of course, is Traffic. Traffic with their AI-driven, AI-based digital advertising solution, and with their personalized strategies, they target in-market shoppers and move them into your sales funnel. Next element there is our website platform, T-Advantage, where the website technology in support with our online strategy consultants will ensure that you maximize your online inventory engagement with your users and your customers. Third piece of the puzzle is Motoinsight, omnichannel sales tools, connected modern retail. So we're moving on from the term digital retail, which we'll touch on that a little bit further on in the conversation. So we bring you the technology again and training as well to ensure that you have the ability to convert high quality browsers into buyers in store and online seamlessly and consistently. Omnichannel, seamless, consistent. One little sidestep here. So Motoinsight recently, I missed a slide there, but Motoinsight recently actually purchased EasyDeal as well. And our product teams are actually right now and working on and prioritizing integrations with EasyDeal. That means we'll have the ability, desking capabilities, DMS integration, e-contracting, and also going to enhance the pricing, penny accurate pricing accuracy for our tool as well. So if you need more information, I can share with you after. Then we've got ActiveX. So ActiveX is really 4 tools in one platform. So customer relationship, engagement, lead management, and also dealership process management to ensure that you maximize your prospect follow-up engagement and also build loyalty with your clients. And then last but not least, vAuto provision in Canada is also part of AutoSync as well. So we know that vAuto is based on the most comprehensive data set in the market to ensure that you're able to price and appraise your vehicles with precision to increase profitability. So as I said, I just wanted to take a step out here just to explain that in case you have seen the press release and then other trade publications will be coming out as well. We wanted to make sure that we give you all the heads up on that. So yeah, Ivan, I guess back to you. It's exciting for all of us.
Very exciting. Yes. So AutoSync, if you see that, the symbol and everything, please like and share. It is on our LinkedIn profiles on Traffic, T-Advantage, and Motoinsight and ActiveX, of course. And yeah, I'm really excited. Great bunch of products coming together. Again, world-class and leaders in Canada, really in their own field. So awesome. Well, thank you for that, Claris, for talking about AutoSync. You'll see that logo quite a bit. All right, so let's get back to the agenda. So what you're here to talk about is Google Vehicle Ads. And we can't really talk about Google Vehicle Ads without talking about the Google Shopping aspect, because it is Google Shopping essentially. So we'll talk about the background. Because of that, we want to talk about the evolution of online automotive commerce and how that has progressed into Google Shop to the fact that we cannot now, Google now offers vehicle ads as a Google Shopping platform. Then I'll go over Google Vehicle Ads, some best practices, some DIYs for those out there who are doing it, and some insights as well as analytics that we have seen in the last 60 days from our clients. Then we want to talk about, I wanted to bring Amar on here because he's going to talk about T Advantage after the click, right? Website VDP optimization tips. Hey, we can get as much traffic as we can to websites, but if it doesn't convert, it's not really that great traffic now, is it? And then we'll do a Q&A. Awesome. Okay, cool. So, wow, lots of dealers on today. This is good to see. Okay, so the history of Google Shopping ads in automotive. It started in 2007, known as Frugal, which is a play on frugal, F-R-U-G-A-L. Kind of weird. Never really got caught on with that name, but it eventually turned into Google Shopping 2012. And I think everybody knows about, if you shop for brown leather jackets in the last 10 years or Nike shoes or something like that, that you're going to get Google Shopping. But for whatever reason, and the reason is, automotive never was on there because it was a lead gen strategy, right? We didn't have the advancements in automotive. However, automotive commerce, when the digital retailing platforms started coming out in 2016, Motoinsight and others, they started to really take the evolution of automotive commerce to the next level. And that's what Claris is going to talk about. And that brings us to Google Vehicle Ads in 2022, basically Google Shopping for automotive, called Google Vehicle Ads. And it's no wonder why they did do this, or why Google went to this, because automotive shoppers are purchasing online. 6% of new car buyers ordered or purchased their vehicle online in 2021. That's up from 1% 2 years prior. Amazing. In fact, around 53% of car buyers are considering an online purchase for their next car. This is a Google Kantar Gearshift study from Google Think Dealer, which Claris and I hosted earlier in the year. Again, check out YouTube, a pretty cool stat. And the other big news about this, and I really want to stress this part of it, is Google products are becoming more visual. Like Google Marketing Live, they really talked about more visual types of ads and platforms to modernize that shopping experience. They used a lot of window shop on Google, augmented reality, okay, creating visual and immersive ad experiences. You can see here this ad that they show that you can spin around, and Claris will talk about Motoinsight and Impel, formerly known as SpinCar, providing that extra experience. And this is on their actual search engine. And you can see here, they even introduced or the concept of having pictures on every search ad. And on top of that, they introduced having pictures on organic ads. So first takeaway, I would say, is you look at your website, you want to become now more e-commerce. In other words, every photo's got to be professionally photographed, because it'll be available on Google, not only on your own website. They'll actually take your photo and put it on there. And I would argue that the better your photos, the better chance you have now in terms of search engines to be able to rank, because they want to show their customers the best possible scenario. Of course, the other big news of 2022 was the introduction of Google Vehicle Ads, which is, of course, the new platform that shows visuals. And photos are actually going to be a really important part of it. And I will talk a little bit about this. But what is it in a nutshell? Google Vehicle Ads are simple and efficient keyword list campaigns. So that's very important. We'll talk about how they actually show that focus on your objectives, serve to the most relevant user. They're inventory based, so takes the best of automation combined with your inventory feeds to serve the right user at the right point in time. And it's increased exposure. It's complementary to your whole search page strategy. Doesn't bid against it. It's a different channel altogether. But how did we get here? We did get here through the evolution of online automotive commerce. Claris, and I think you're best to speak to how that has come about the past few years.
Yeah, thanks, Ivan. Yeah, I obviously appreciate the opportunity here. I know the main stage is yours today, Ivan, talking about Google Vehicle Ads, but as I'm so into the weeds of digital retail, or now we call it modern retail or connected retail, I can see the successes, and I also see the challenges and the struggles as well. And I just want to talk about that, because ultimately, if it's part of your strategy and you're thinking on the path, I want to make sure that I share some of those insights. So if we think back to, and I don't like talking about the pandemic, but if we think back to the beginning of the pandemic, we thought that digital retail is going to be always selling cars while you sleep. And yeah, at the time, it was the only way for consumers to interact with dealerships. But we know that that is not the case at all. You're not going to sell cars while you sleep. Really, digital retail is a tool that allows you to provide that connected and modern retail experience to your prospects. So lots of dealerships invested in different digital retailing tools. The unfortunate thing is if you don't have the process built out around it, the pain points for consumers are still there, like they still exist today. So what are those? Just if we touch on those, we have to deal with different members of the dealership as part of that conversation, different personnel. So that means the information either can get lost or it's overloaded. And that does not help with trust of the information also around the process as well. And we've been talking about transparency for I don't know how many years. So transparency is about the information being transparent and also the process being transparent to the customer. The dealership schedule limitations, of course, they're still there. And ultimately, it's a lengthy process. So if I look at that pain point, it doesn't just exist for the consumer, but it's also for the dealership sales personnel as well. We want to make sure that we bring convenience and efficiency to those teams as well. So if I break it down to like, okay, it's super simple. How can we solve for those? So number one would be where I see is a big myth still is dealerships invest in a digital retailing tool, but they actually, to me, it's like low-hanging fruit. I'm not getting enough leads for it. But make sure that you're actually informing your customers that they have the ability to complete some of these purchase steps online, because they may not be aware, and then you're not going to get those conversions. Number two, if we want to build trust and loyalty with our customers, transparency and consistency is key. Amar, you're going to talk about website transparency. That to me has to go into your process as well. And it's that consistent experience. So regardless of where I start and where I end up, the experience should be consistent, which will help the team become more efficient. Three, if it's available, 1% touch point, that really helps inform the customer of the next steps that they can take. It'll help them guide through the journey online and in store as well. And then the last one, of course, as mentioned, is the convenience element. If we can reduce the time that the customer has to spend at the dealership, while still providing that seamless experience, that's going to bring convenience to the dealership team also. So I like this because the perfect customer journey, it's the norm now. It's not a luxury, right, Ivan? You and I had talked about this a lot.
Yeah, we talked. I think it was Think Dealer that we talked about because before COVID-19, it was like a cool thing that a company did was to follow them and give them a custom journey. But after COVID-19, if it's not the norm, you are out of the game. So yeah, custom journeys absolutely definitely has to be the norm. It's not a luxury anymore.
Yeah, but you see, we know that it's not an overnight process, and there's a bunch of different tactical elements that have to be tackled to ensure that we provide that modern customer experience. And the dealership is always going to be an integral part of it, right? Because that human interaction takes place there. So that's why we broke it down to 3 Ps, super simple, I think, for any teams that what is going to bring you the results. We have to have the people who actually buy into the process, they embrace it. And I've seen that with dealerships, sometimes it's the newest member or newest employees who out of the gate are part of this new modernized experience that will have the most success. Yeah. Number 2 is the platform. So figure out what is your strategy and what fits into that strategy, what kind of platform you're trying to implement. And it's not always about the price. It's really like what fits your dealership and how is it going to work with the rest of your tech stack. And then number 3 is the process, ensuring that we have a process built out around it, because the 2 people and the platform just by themselves, they're not going to bring the results that we're looking for. So if those 3 are aligned, and again, it would take months, because I've seen it with dealership kind of embrace this new experience over COVID, and now for them it's the norm. This is how we roll. And then it's going to bring that consistency to both to the dealership workflow and the team's workflow, as well as the customer experience. Then efficiency, which it's rolled across the business. Convenience, as we talked about it, which ultimately will bring satisfaction as a result. So if I just break it down to 3 things, as I said, it's all about the experience, and the dealership who are succeeding in this space, that's the mindset that they've gone in with. So we need to kind of move on from legacy and really think modern experience. And Ivan, you and I had talked about a lot around personalization when it comes to marketing, modernizing your marketing efforts and strategizing accordingly. The sales effort and that process has to match that to bring the results. We don't want to break that flow that we might have built out with our digital advertising strategy, and then we're not following up with our clients effectively, efficiently, and properly to bring a relevant conversation and guide customers further in the funnel.
Yeah,
And then
always custom in your ads, always custom in your approach. Like never treat everybody the same. Everybody's different. Same thing.
Yeah, 100%. And then the last one is the reducing the barriers in your tech stack. So on the next slide, I just wanted to flash that up, because if we think about modern retailing, there's so many different elements that come in part of it as well. And we're in Motoinsight, we deal with our OEM partners, we also deal with dealerships as well. And a lot of the time we're connecting the two, like the OEM website with their tier list experience into the dealership workflow. So there's a lot of moving elements that have to work together. So ensuring that you have the ability to remove some of those limitations and barriers between your tech stack is ultimately going to help with your workflow. So before we kind of like jump into your main topic today, 3 things: how you can be future-proof, strategize, like what is it that you want to achieve, then invest in the platform that will help you get there, but then implement. So take the time to train the team and implement that change, which is going to take months for sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Clarice. And so in the here and now, I totally agree. Like, you know, because automotive has had that process, has it locked down now and people can shop online, we got Google Vehicle Ads. So I'm going to go over the Google Vehicle Ads overview. So Google Vehicle Ads, how does it work? All right. So Google Vehicle Ads is not keyword based. It shows for queries with vehicle shopping intent alongside model, brand, or other qualifiers. So everyone on the call, if you're looking for Google Vehicle Ads, you're probably not going to find them. They're only reserved for people who are in market. So that's very different distinction, which makes it a really high probability of conversion, because it's only being shown not to just anybody, people who are in market. Okay, no keywords needed. And it's auction time bidding based on conversion value performance, which means if your ads are converting and you have those conversions set up properly, your ad is going to show, because Google wants to show the best possible ad to the person, because obviously it's their product. They want to show that type of ad to the person that they're dealing with.
So it makes it like hyper relevant. The quality of your opportunities that you get through that, like these are low funnel prospects.
Exactly. It's only to shopping intent. So you can't manipulate that. And again, like I said, if you have a lot of conversions, you're going to get more exposure on it. We'll talk a little bit about pacing afterwards, but definitely high intent. So the way it works, all right, so it might look complicated, but it's really not. It's your vehicle inventory feed is very important. It works off your feed. The other item is you have to hook up your Google Business Profile. This is very key because it's location based. You can see here, it does work on location. So the closer you are to the searcher, the more likelihood that you're going to show up. At Traffic ourselves, we actually optimize this portion of it by limiting exposure on lower inventory units, non-merchandise units, things like this. Otherwise, it'll show your entire feed. We're also optimized for the lowest cost per click. Talk a little bit about that afterwards. Then it goes into Merchant Center. And just like you said, Clarice, it serves hyper-relevant ads based on location and intent across the top of a Google search.
So with the location, like if I'm based here, with it, what's the distance where I may get ads?
So it's whatever area you've bid on, first of all, so you can't show outside of that. So you set your geography parameters. For used cars would be further, obviously. And then after that, it's, based on conversion value. So it's very AI driven. So if you are targeting Burlington and Oakville and other people from around Canada, this is Greater Toronto area pair of cities. If it sees some conversions from Oakville and you have put that into your geography of bidding of being part of your campaign, it'll show you ads from Oakville, right? Because it knows that a lot of people from Burlington travel to Oakville because they're sister cities, or people from Oakville won't say otherwise. But anyways, they're very similar. Yeah, they're very similar in nature, and so that's how it kind of works in that manner.
I'm sure, Ivan, that the machine will definitely optimize when you do have more conversions coming from a particular area, it's going to start double downing.
Exactly.
And the intervention that we can add at Traffic as sort of experts with our own AI technology is that we can then discuss with the dealer whether that's something that we definitely want to continue with or we throttle back.
Exactly. Yeah,
Cool.
exactly. So what are the mandatory vehicle ad requirements? Okay, you're going to need an image. You're going to need your location. The location is going to come from your Google Business Profile. Make, model, VIN, price. That's a lot of that's going to come from your DMS. Mileage. There is a meta tag component. So a meta tag is produced and you have to put it on your website to get it verified by Google. So there's a little bit of work beforehand. You do have to have access to the Google Business Profile. So they do have to be linked to your Google Business Profile. Okay, so you do have to have a physical location, which is going to be a little bit weird for some of the online only providers because there is no physical location because as you can see, again, it's based on location. What's not accepted though, and this is important for everyone on the call, is overlays on images. And when the overlays are baked on a JPEG, especially from your feed, that will be a little bit of a problem for you moving forward. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but that's going to be a big takeaway from this specific webinar is to think about how you're photographing your vehicles. The backgrounds that are used are also very important. So a clearer background is getting served more. Okay. Again, like I said from Google Marketing Live, what they're pulling is professional photography with clear backgrounds. And, that's how e-commerce sites work.
I think it makes sense. It makes sense, Ivan. Sorry to interject, but like if you're looking at Google, very white. And the intent for that is so that the content is easy to identify and then they get the click through. So the platform is designed that way. So when we have white backgrounds and lighter backgrounds on vehicle images, the vehicle just pops even more and it looks so native to the Google search engine results page.
100%. And then of course it works on going directly to the VDP, and we will touch a little bit more into the vehicle images and things like that in a few slides. So any of these clicks go straight to your VDP, and that's why we have Amar here with some VDP tips, because it bypasses everything. It doesn't go to your SRP, it doesn't go to that homepage, it goes right to that VDP, so you get the continuity of the image, and then the rest of the good stuff that Amar is going to talk about that you should have on a VDP. It's a complementary strategy. Again, it's a different search engine-ish to the search engine of the channel of search. Okay, there is a possibility too that you can dominate a Google VA. A first page of a Google search engine results page. You can have your Google VA ad at the top. You can have your search ad right below it. Then you can even have benefit from an OEM ad because if you're geolocated, when they go to the OEM, they're going to eventually submit a lead and go to you. And then you can have your organic ad. So you can actually have the top 4 spots of a Google search. Talk about getting rid of the competitors. Search and Google VA working in conjunction. So, we've had a lot of questions of, if I'm on Google VA, should I not be on search? Well, Google's recent beta showed that there's a 25% average increase in conversions when vehicle ads and text ads are combined together, because again, they are working on 2 different ways of showing ads to people. Here's an important one as well. Google vehicle ads, like I had to mention earlier, it doesn't work based on keywords. It works based on conversion value or conversions. Okay. VA uses maximize conversion value target ROAS bid strategies, which means you have to set up your correct conversion values on your website. So for forms like contact us, request a quote, schedule a test drive, even VDPs, visits, things like this, conversion values, conversion metrics, and offline goals like calls and store visits to your dealership. That way you're going to show more because Google is taking that data of conversions and then showing the ad a lot more than it would to someone who doesn't get a lot of conversions. Or alternatively, if you didn't set up your conversions right and it doesn't show like you're getting a lot of conversions, you're going to get less impressions. So this is really important. I know there's probably some chat and some questions. By all means, pop them in there. We'll answer them all at the end.
So can the traffic team help our clients with that?
100%. Yeah, of course. Yeah. I do have the DIY because I know we have some DIYs, but traffic takes care of all of this. Yeah, exactly. Traffic takes care of all this stuff. No problem. But here is a DIY. So when we do send out the follow-up, I do have a DIY 5 steps to set up your vehicle ads. I have links here for more information. Of course, if you're with traffic, just reach out to your traffic rep or or T Advantage rep or AutoSync rep, and we'll set you up. But yeah, I do have a DIY here on how to do it yourself. So here's a little bit of troubleshooting. Okay, so there is a couple of issues with setting it up, whether you do it yourself or even with us or even in general. And one of them is store code. You'll notice in the back end of Google Business Profile, there's a section called store code. Now, sometimes we don't fill it in because if you're not a group, you don't necessarily have a store code, right? I would suggest immediately today, right now, after this call, if you don't have a store code in there, put a store code in there.
Yeah, franchise dealerships all have a dealer code that you'd be able to put in there, right?
Right. Yeah, cool. Perfect. Exactly. Yeah. If you don't have a random number that you can pick or whatever, use your dealer code. That's I think this is a dealer code actually.
Yeah. Do not put your ATM. Do not put your ATM PIN number. Use your dealer code. Probably a better thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because Google will reject an ad without a store code for whatever reason. They do reject ads. We've seen it happen. And the issue is, the reason I say to do it now is because it takes 7 to 14 days for Google to verify your store code, or it doesn't verify with anything. It just verifies that it's there. And so that can delay, if you want to start in July, that'll delay you to the middle of the month. And by the 20th, you're not going to be not going to be in a great position if you wanted to have this as a major part of your marketing strategy. And then overlays, really important.
Question. We just had a quick question, Commissar, if you don't mind. So is the inventory served across all Google placements or only search is the question? So
great question. Eventually it will be, this is the rumor, this is what they've kind of said, is that it'll be part of Performance Max, a portion of Performance Max, which is for everyone on traffic. We're going to be talking about Performance Max in July. So part of the entire set of Google products. Right now, it's very search-based or on the search engine-based platform. Yeah, but there is the possibility of going to other platforms as well. Yeah. So overlays. This is big, okay, because Google's rejecting a lot of these overlays, and the dealerships that are running have these overlays baked on your photos. It's getting rejected, and it's not a good thing. Looks great idea, but again, we got to think about the future. The right-hand side vehicle, which looks very simple, and it looks like it's photographed, right, like by studio. This is the type of ad that's going to be accepted by Google and into Google Vehicle Ads. And like I said, if Google continues down this path of the organic ads being like this, their paid search ads, you're going to want to move to this.
Yeah. Ivan, sometimes that overlay, correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember with some website platforms, that overlay gets baked in only on the website because it's kind of a vector file that sits above the actual photo. So if that's the case and we're pulling the data feed from the dealership's website, then we could potentially have the same Audi A4 without the actual overlay that's being fed through, and the overlay can still live on the website. And that's something that obviously we'd have to look at on a case-by-case basis, and you'd have to get the consult, whether it's us or anybody, to help you determine that.
Exactly. As long as the overlay is probably on the viewport or the window of the website and not on the image. And how can you tell? Right-click the image and hit Save As, okay? When you download that, open it up. If it includes the overlay, it's baked on the image, and it's not a good thing. If it's not, and if you save it and you open it and there is no overlay, you're good. That's the original feed.
Yeah.
But in your own processes, everyone, like, honestly start to think about converting to this style, okay? Because you don't want a search engine like Google rejecting your merchandising. That's a pretty big takeaway from this webinar, to be honest, is the overlays. Yeah.
So let's say, Ivan, the dealer doesn't have the ability to have a white background, or is not using, I know there are a lot of service providers that will do that and cut out the background. And let's say they are using a photo like this, because typically they'll take the picture right on the lot and that's where the vehicle is, and they pull up the next one. And if that's the case, I think that is still a good option. But ultimately, we're seeing from a performance perspective that the lighter the background and the more transparent that vehicle looks above, the more success that we're going to have within vehicle ads.
Yeah, exactly. So I know this is a rendition. Obviously, it's not real, but this photo to the right is real. And the reason I took it from that specific dealership is because they spent $10,000 on Google Vehicle Ads, and they serve up the $10,000 every time. Okay. Major urban center. The dealerships that are using this type of overlay and even this type of background, which is basically obviously from the actual physical location, they're not pacing the same. So let's say on $1,000 budget, they're only getting $250, $300 worth of that budget being spent because they're just not being shown.
Wow.
Okay. So it's very important.
Big
This is a real,
difference.
this is a real photo of the best performing dealership on Google VA right now. And what is the performance so far? So in addition to that specific store, these are a sample results of 12 dealerships from across Canada that I took. Little high. I'm not gonna lie. 821 CPM, 72.76 cost per lead, $1.14 cost per click. Little high. Cost per VDP is pretty decent at 96 cents, but the cost per lead at 72.76. Let's talk about that.
The quality though, like that's what I keep thinking. It's like, as we mentioned, the customer is so low in the funnel.
100%. Yeah. It's a shopping intent. So 72.76 doesn't look as bad, but I also want to stress that this isn't AI driven. This is AI driven platform. With any AI driven platform, never, ever give it 30 days. This is only 30 days. Exactly. The first 30 days, if you ever do a review with a provider, AI provider, anything, you'll always see, if we do a 90-day timestamp, you see a line going like this, and then it jumps, and then it jumps. Okay. So AI in the first month, 72.76 in May for these 12 stores, only going to go down from this point. I'm positive of it as it starts to learn the best shoppers and all these and of course the area competitors, all these factors that AI does.
Quick question on that that's just come in. You mentioned which is the best performing dealership. So the question came in is whether we have any documents, I guess data to back your statement on the best performing dealership.
The fact that they spent,
I think you just mentioned it already.
Yeah, the fact that they spent their full 10K is pretty good indication.
Gets served up every time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Versus the one that doesn't.
And here is an actual one of my clients actually, import dealer, large urban center, spent $750 in May, $750. And this is the actual. I just pulled it straight from our performance review. 80,000 impressions, 449 clicks. $1.64 average cost per click. They had an 84% impression share. Of course, that's another thing too, is like you have a monopoly on the Google vehicle ads. Like if you're on there, you're ahead of everyone else. In other words, this dealership was a little bit performing better than the 72.76 that was on average of the 12. They had $38.67 cost per conversion, which is really good cost per conversion. This is the breakdown of the conversions. All right. So they had 19 total conversions. You can see here, 3 website forms, 7 calls, 9 chats. And of course, at Traffic, we don't include store visits and get directions in the cost per conversion. Those are just bonuses. And of course, being a Google product, this comes from the fact that you're hooking up the Google business profile. So in total, you could say this dealership got 26 leads or conversions on $750 spent. So not bad. And this dealership, I've already checked it month to date. It's already bested this average. So not bad.
Awesome. Good numbers. Really great numbers.
Oh, and then one more thing I wanted to point out is they did get 449 clicks. Okay. So that's still 450 people coming to the website at $1.64. Only 19 conversions. That's true. And this is why now, Amar, great segue, why we have you. Because let's turn those 449 clicks into more conversions. And the only way to do that is with VDP optimization. So
let's do something with them. Let's do something with them. I think that's ultimately what dealers want to do. If anybody
just optimize your VDP. There you go.
Well, it's easy. Well, here, so guys, for the intro on my topic, it's a pretty short subject. It's go and optimize your website. All good.
Is that it?
You guys.
That's it? Yeah. Just optimize your VDP. Okay, good.
It's a lot, it's a lot less detailed.
So thank everybody.
I'm just making a joke, obviously, but in the general context of things, that's the main thing. And that word gets tossed around quite a bit, particularly in digital marketing and especially auto digital marketing. So how do we, give you some sort of fact-based stuff? And that's what we're going to get into. And the first thing is, which I think is a good segue from all of the cool stuff that Ivan has queued up. And it's, which dealership should be using Google VA? AKA, should I be using Google VA? There's a lot of dealerships that are on here right now. We have a pretty packed house. And I'd suggest a couple of things. So me personally, I've been in the website space for about 12 years. And we know even back then, and I'm sure a lot of dealers can remember 5-10 years ago, there were a lot of dealerships that would withhold information on their VDP. They wouldn't put all of the pricing. They wouldn't put all of the vehicle descriptions, or at least the pricing. And they wanted to have that call for price button. And that was their main CTA and their main goal. We can't get away with that anymore in such a consumer-centric and modernized environment.
Mark,
Customers want the info.
They wouldn't even put it on the print ad. I don't know if you remember those. You had 15, and nope, call for price or no price at all.
Yeah,
Are you just showing your age,
On the
Ivan?
print. Oh, maybe I am.
I think we all are. I think we all are. I had a lot more hair when I started in the industry, and it's all gone now.
That's great.
And Clarice and I were a lot darker. So.
That's great. Yeah.
It's but some of the key points and some of the main things we're talking about VDP specifically. You got to make sure you have thorough vehicle descriptions, and I'm sure you guys have heard this before. Competitive pricing, including lease finance options, and the ability to configure, which is very, very important. Clarice touched on that. Thank you. And just overall well merchandised with 25, 20, 30 photos per vehicle. And that's going to give someone, and with the other best practices around photos, that's going to give someone the best experience. But we got to remember, when we're setting this up and initiating VA, we're pulling from that. That is your foundation for the success within your Google VA, or one of the critical areas for the success within Google VA, and how someone engages with your inventory on there. So you got to ensure all your information is visible. And yes, obviously, however, above the fold, and as soon as someone enters that page. And remember, the traditional way of doing things and getting somebody on the homepage, or even driving traffic to the most relevant filtered page, the SRP, and then having them go to the inventory. That's not what we're doing here. We're finally going directly to VDP, directly from Google VA. So they got to match. And in addition to that, imagine someone getting here and now they're looking for more details on that vehicle. Give it to them, give them all of it. And we know that from the perspective of putting photo, specs, price, and a clear call to action, which we'll talk about a little bit more, when we put those together above the fold, right in your face for the consumer to see, the template itself increases lead conversion by about 15%. We use a tool. We have a lot of market intelligence within the T Advantage platform. So over 850 websites that are on our platform, we're making sure that we're collecting this data to determine and decipher among all these different VDP themes, what is performing the best. But this would be our out of the gate recommendation from obviously a very well-known and optimized dealer and dealer group. Now, in addition, the promo banners. Now, show of hands, I mean, who here remembers, again, we're going to show our age, or I'm going to show mine, 10 years ago, when the only promo banner that was available for a dealership was right on the homepage, the biggest promo banner you can think of, and the consumer was left to then scroll through all the banners. And dealerships, I mean, and marketers like myself, we'd create a new campaign, put up a new promo banner on the homepage and think, that's it, that's all, it was effective. Well, now we know that there's a huge percentage of traffic that's not even going to your homepage. They're bypassing it. How do you serve them up the details of your promo and your active campaign that relates to that vehicle? So the promo banner that we have within the T Advantage platform, and there are other website vendor platforms that do this. We're not claiming exclusivity to this feature. However, when you put this together, we know that it'll generate 3 times more clicks than just a standard contact us CTA. And we're not looking at it in the live environment, and we always can, but when you click on the actual contact us button, it's all part of that finance from 449 CTA. Opens up a light box. There's your form submission right there. Functions on mobile, functions on desktop as well. I'll tie it back because it's not necessarily a website optimization conversation. It's around website optimization in relation to VA. And what is VA about? It's about giving more personalization to that unique customer and seeing it all the way through to the website experience.
Yeah, because the customer already narrowed down on their consideration set. So it's just additional information that was like, okay, I'm ready to make that step to move forward with the buying process.
Clarice, and I think we also have to assume that a customer who's shopping online may not know that the finance rate is 4.49. Right. They may not know, and that finance rate could be 0.99 for 2 years and not the 72 months at 4.49, which is more attractive. Where is our opportunity to show them and interact with them almost as if they were on the showroom floor? Because I'll be damned if that customer comes in and our salespeople don't tell them about the finance rates on that specific vehicle they're looking for. So this gives us an opportunity to do that.
With that much info on this page, like the term of bounce rates and things like that will become irrelevant because somebody's come here, they've seen all the information they need, they submitted lead and they leave. By the way, two things: GA4 I think is getting rid of bounce rate. It's going to be about clicking. That's one. So we will have a GA4
I
webinar
was
in
just
a
going
few
to say that should
months.
be our next
Yes,
topic.
yeah,
Cool.
GA4.
Very cool.
Yeah. The other thing is, and maybe I'll talk about it then, is the CTA debate of what the heck do you put on these
Yes,
CTAs?
we had that
We
last
have
night, but I
yes,
think
we
we
have
need to gather more info and bring that back.
yes, we
Yeah.
have an initial study on the best worded CTA over 850 websites.
Yeah.
But anyways, not refined completely. We'll have more information on it.
We should get folks to, just for fun, because that's a whole other topic, is what is the best performing CTA. We should get
Yep.
folks to put it in the chat. What is your best
Yeah,
performing
Yeah,
call
yeah.
to action? Is it book a test drive? Is it contact us?
Yeah, email inquiry, whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, any of
Exactly.
those. Schedule a test
Yeah.
drive. Yeah.
Really, really cool, but definitely a webinar down the road, and that's good
Yeah.
content for next time. But to talk about price transparency, and we're kind of, imagine us going down to VDP right now. The price transparency is extremely important, and we need to make sure, and you need to make sure, that you're providing your customer with everything that they need to get as close to the actual price that they need, and the ability to sort of serve them up a tool or a tech that allows them to go and do some configurations on their own on both mobile and desktop, with the assumption that if you're doing that, you're putting yourself in a good opportunity for them to inquire more once they've done that initial price configuration. And Clarice, I think you have some context on that.
Yeah,
too.
I dropped a couple of screenshots in here from our tool, because I can see, so certain dealerships choose to lock the pricing configurator because they want to get the customer information first, which if it works out for you, it's great. You may get more prospects, but what I do see that the quality of the opportunities, if that is unlocked, also supports the transparency that we talk about. But 80% of users who actually go in there will configure their payment terms. So you already have more information on the consumer, and you know exactly what their budget is and what they're looking for. So your conversation right away can be more relevant, and we're back to that personalization as well. But ensuring that you actually look at the information that the customer submits, because I've seen that often, as well as with the mystery shops, that it's like, we provided you a bunch of info about this user, like use it to your advantage to ensure that your follow-up is actually, again, it's like personalized to the information that was submitted.
That's a really good point, Clarice. And I'll even go back to the question that I asked for everybody, which we'll do another topic on, as far as what is the best performing CTA. But we know that certain CTAs will drive either more information, more submitted from that customer as far as lead information. Some may just provide the basic. So then we're getting into a quality discussion about what CTA is providing the most at the most quality, or at the highest quality.
Yeah, and again, strategies vary. Like, I have this conversation always: are you about quality or quantity? And it varies. So it really depends on like what fits your strategy.
Absolutely.
As I see this, I can't believe any dealership website would not have biweekly or lease and finance payments. Like, I don't know how you would even get a lead. I don't know. Can you afford? I don't know if I knew I could afford 59.9 or whatever, but I can definitely know if I could afford 458.16 biweekly. Anyways, probably another discussion on that one, but yeah, amazing.
So imagine us going, thanks, Ivan. Imagine us continuing down to VDP. And when you look at our VDPs, we have video in different areas, but let's look at the bottom of this one where we incorporate a video. This is another tactic to increase the time on site and the overall conversion of your website VDP by about 88%. And what we want to make sure that we're doing is we're enabling dealerships who don't exactly have the resources to go and shoot a walk around. I would also love to get a show of hands. Who does walk arounds? Like, that would be great data. I'm just so curious. I'm assuming that 25 to 50% of the group would do walk arounds. Now with Video Fusion, we give you the ability to just stitch together photos automatically. The technology takes care of it to create a video that may be a little bit more engaging. It adds a soundtrack, gives it a little bit more oomph. But you also have the ability to embed that walk around. You also have the ability to directly embed or upload an MOV file, an MPEG-4, MP4, wherever it's coming from. The suggestion is usually, hey, go use that content and serve it up on your YouTube channel as well. Start building your library. I know Ivan has personal experience in doing that, being a a director of marketing for a dealer group, YouTube was very important. So you can build that content up, but at the end of the day, having that vehicle specific video and content specific right on that vehicle is super important and will increase the amount of time somebody spends and how they engage with your overall inventory.
Yeah, 100%. I don't know if anyone's here from Carnation Canada, but yeah, we definitely took video very seriously. Georgetown Kia and a few others just uploading videos and walkarounds and things like that. So definitely it benefited us, as did this live reviews.
Yep.
Yeah,
It benefits everybody. If you're a restaurant, you're a car dealership, you're no different. You need to have quality reviews.
Yeah.
And I'm sure everybody knows that, right, Claire? Social proof. And I'm sure everybody's aware at this stage. I mean, this is kind of old news. The new news is that it needs to be sort of automated and get to your VDP as easily as possible. And that's what this platform allows you to do. But this is an additional conversion point or a tool that's going to increase your ability to convert. If someone is more confident, they get that social proof right away, maybe that's enough to push them over the edge to say, yeah, you know what, I will contact the dealer, or I will start building out the vehicle, or I will set foot inside the dealership because they're only a 5-minute drive and I'm picking up my son from daycare. That's still something that happens. People do walk into the dealerships, as you guys know, but they're coming equipped with all of this stuff that they see online. So really great. And we've definitely wanted to include that thought. Lastly, branded features on your VDP and throughout the website, but focusing on the VDP itself, you'll notice that with this VDP, there's Equifax, but there's also Trader IQ badging. And this is the consistent badge that's on Trader Marketplace. If you've enabled that product or that tool, then showing up right here also gives you a little bit of an element of proof on the pricing of that vehicle. And it helps potentially seal the deal. We know from the perspective of, A/B testing, and when we don't have the badge versus we do, this is somewhat recent as far as our overall auto trader ecosystem and dealers really embracing this. So we know that it improves lead conversions by more than 10%, and it will increase VDP views from the SRP. Now we're looking at a VDP, that's where you're seeing it, but imagine someone being on the SRP, scrolling through inventory, and they see great price, great price, great price, great price, great price. And as you know, autotrader.ca delivers the Best Price Dealer Award, and that's a further validation for you guys in your sales. How does it tie back to Google VA? I guess I'll cue that one up for Ivan, because we want to stay central to the Google VA topic.
Well, like you got to think this is a landing page now, right? So this is your homepage. Okay. This is your home. The VDP is your homepage from a Google VA ad.
Yeah.
So you might as well include all of the information about your dealership on this page. I love the reviews. It's always a great indicator. Always can put somebody over the edge of buying from you or not. And yeah, I mean, great price, good price, great price. Obviously the branding of Auto Trader. All of this stuff is very important to when somebody lands on here. Like I said, don't take too much into bounce rate and things like that. People come here for that car. They've seen it on Google. They're on your site. If you have enough information here, what do they need to click anymore for? Reviews are there. Great prices there. The validation of that. Their biweekly payments. All the fun stuff to submit a lead. All right on time, actually, to be honest. 12:50. I don't know how we always get these right at the moment, but anyways, key takeaways: be the first in market with the new digital marketing strategies. I'll always say that. Be the first to market with these things. People realize that. Gives you more practice before everyone else does. Gives you a nice head start. Be the first in market. Google VA. You'll be the first in market. You'll be alone for a while. It is very critical to be on VA, in my opinion, right now. Modernize your customer engagement and sales efforts to match your marketing efforts. Clarice, that was a great sort of a take from the
don't break it.
Yeah, exactly. Ensure proper setup of Google vehicle ads. Okay, this is important. Google Business Profile linking, clean feed, proper photos without overlays. That's going to be a long-term project for a lot of dealers. And then correct conversion tracking, because that's going to get you more impressions. Ensure to give your Google vehicle ads time for the AI to be able to optimize. Never stop any campaign anywhere after 30 days, ever. Always give it 90 days at least, and then assess from that point. And then use the VDP optimization tips that Amar just provided there to increase the lead possibilities after a Google vehicle ad click. Before we go into Q&A, by all means, we actually do post clips of past webinars and even our own webinars that in full length on LinkedIn. So you can follow Motoinsight, Traffic, and T Advantage, and you can follow AutoSync. It is clickable, which is awesome. Please go do that. On YouTube as well, please follow Motoinsight and Traffic. And then on TikTok, if you're on the TikTok platform, Traffic is on there as well.
And there is anything that any of our listeners want us to talk about, yeah, feel free to reach out, because we love these conversations. We try and bring some obviously educational element and some fun into the banter as well. But yeah, always open for these. So if you have any questions, suggestions for topics, yeah, feel free to reach out.
Awesome. And of course, music requests. Please
Yeah,
put those in the chat.
Well, we might have a bit of a back and forth on that one, but yeah, we've had a couple of questions in, Ivan. And Amar, first one is the IQ badge, and is it only available for T Advantage website, or other websites are able to have that too?
We'd love to keep it on our own platform, but you know that product is actually managed by your trader marketplace account manager, so they'll have the complete information on where you can use it and if you can integrate it into your third-party website.
Reach out to the trader.
Yeah, that'd be my suggestion.
Okay. What about new vehicles? Can we run VA for new vehicles, Ivan?
Yeah, great question. By the way, I think that IQ badging is T Advantage exclusive, but don't quote me on that. But so going back to the new cars, okay, there's a big issue for Google in Canada about MSRP and sale price. Because you have to show MSRP, but you're not necessarily selling at MSRP. There's a big debate between Google and to get into the Canadian market. So new vehicle ads are not available in Canada and some states, by the way. I know we have some American dealerships on. Some states and Canada are not right now doing new cars on Google vehicle ads. It's only used. But as soon as new vehicle ads are available, of course, we will definitely offer new vehicle ads. New Google vehicle ads, yeah. Used only right now.
Yeah. One more question. Amar, I think this is for you. So should we put dual pricing on everything or special pieces?
Should we put dual pricing on everything or special piece? Yeah, if you mean dual pricing, meaning the pricing and then you have the payments. Or just
that's why I'm wondering whether it's MSRP and
I think it depends. I think it really my guidance is like, I remember some dealers obviously very pre-pandemic having basically almost like a bill of sale on their VDP. It was like every discount imaginable and then every increase imaginable as well, if you wanted to make sure that you're completely transparent with your pricing. So there's a big plus and minus sheet, like you had to be an accountant to read it. But it was good transparency for the customer. I think that was really very much in line with their internal pricing strategy that they had for the dealership. And that pricing strategy would have gone away as inventory supply has changed and there's more of a shortage and a higher demand for new vehicle inventory. So I think it really depends. My suggestion would be to match your internal process as if that customer were speaking to you on their computer. What would you tell them? What would you show them in order, and think transparency in mind? Yeah. What would you tell them? What would you show them in order to give them the right amount of information on their initial look? Because you know that they're going to be looking at multiple dealerships and multiple inventory. So I hope that helps. But I agree with Ivan. Like, hey, if you're going to put an MSRP, let's put some sort of finance breakdown and some sort of lease breakdown. If you've got rebates that are on and active from the OEM, we feed those through automatically on T Advantage Gold. So those will automatically be there. And then in addition, if you have anything extra, special deal at your dealership, you can put those on as well.
Awesome.
Great question. Really great question.
Yeah.
I think there's one more, right? Do you think Google will do to the auto industry? Thank you, Max.
Yeah,
very, very active.
I like this one. I like this question. I like this question, but I'm not going to take it. Ivan's going to take it.
I was going to take that one.
Yeah. I'll take it. Possibly. Okay. One of the things that Facebook is doing is trying to keep all the leads within their platform. Okay, Facebook has done that. The way they do Facebook on Facebook ads, where they serve even better inventory to an on Facebook ad customer, because It's kept within the Facebook ecosystem. They're able to track their own leads and conversions better. Everything's within that one ecosystem. Google hasn't done that. One of the interesting things about Google in terms of Google Shopping is Google Shopping has an entire page of shopping on Google. They didn't do that with vehicle ads. So they're all clickable VDPs, but they didn't create that Google Shopping page. Even on TikTok, they're going along that way where they create an instant page. It's called the instant page, where you can put all your inventory right on TikTok. And so that way they know that you're submitting a lead on their platform. Google hasn't done it yet in terms of keeping it for themselves. So I don't know, maybe, but they haven't.
When we find out more, we'll bring it back to the conversation.
I will ask Matthew Groudon though, see if he has
let's do it. Yeah.
Great question for the Google team. Yeah.
All right, I think that's it. That's a wrap. Thank you everyone for staying on with us the whole time. Like that's awesome. So as mentioned, we will be sharing the recording and the deck as well. If you do have any additional questions, you see our contact information on the page. Please feel free to reach out. For any of our Canadian friends on here, I'm wishing you a happy long weekend and happy Canada Day coming up later on this week. Anyone who joined us from the US, thanks again for hopping on with us. We really appreciate your time, and we hope you find this informational and interesting, first of all.